NFL Kickoff 2010. We welcome you to Nashville, Tennessee, LP Field, where today the Tennessee Titans play host to the Oakland Raiders. And today's game is brought to you in stunning Sony high definition. We'll come back with the Raiders and the Titans. The kickoff is next. This is the NFL on CBS. We get the 2010 season going in a moment.
Presenting Subway Fresh Buzz, a look at football's most buzzworthy teams, brought to you by Subway, home of the famous $5 footlong. Subway, eat fresh. The 2010 NFL season begins with a number of intriguing storylines. Can rookie quarterback Sam Bradford make the Rams competitive again in the NFC West? Will Andre Johnson and the Texans earn their first playoff berth? And can Reggie Bush and the Saints defend their Super Bowl title?
And the Saints continue to roll.
How's this for a pitch?
So many of your favorite
Subway footlongs
are just $5.
$5?
Use your head.
That's an all-around deal.
Score big with your favorite Subway $5 footlong sub. From the classic BLT to the Flavorocious Black Forest ham and more.
Your favorites, just the way you want them. Throw on some mustard.
A little salt, a little pepper. Pickles, black olives.
A little bit of mayo.
Maybe a couple jalapenos.
I like a little kick. World champion flavor.
That's right.
Subway, where winners eat.
CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Perfect conditions here in Nashville today. Temperature 76 degrees. We've had rain, heavy rain each of the last 2 days, but clear skies the rest of the way. The Raiders and the Titans. Tom Cable, 45-year head coach of the Oakland Raiders in his second full season as the head man, 17th head coach in Raiders history. A bit of a switch this year. He's got an offensive coordinator, Hugh Jackson, who's calling the plays. It's alleviated some of the duties for Cable. And Jeff Fisher, longest tenured coach in the NFL. Last year his team started out 0-6. They went 8-2 the rest of the way. Remember, this was a team that was the #1 seed in the AFC in 2008 when they finished 13-3.
And perhaps Jeff Fisher sending a message to his team and maybe even the Raiders by winning the toss and deferring to the second half. They will kick off and have the Titan defense on the field to begin this ballgame.
So Rob Baronis will kick it off to Yamon Figures, kickoff return specialist for the Raiders, formerly with Baltimore, Detroit, and Tampa Bay. Has a career average of 23 yards per return. The 2010 season underway in the NFL. Baronis kicks off to Figures. He'll take it out of the end zone for Oakland. Figures up the middle and loses the football. Out across the 20-yard line. Oakland recovers it. What a way to open up if the Raiders would have coughed it up and Tennessee recovered.
Great job of slicing in, hitting the ball with the helmet. One of the defenders for the Titans coming down under this kickoff. It's a good kickoff by Baronis. Figures took it about 4 yards deep in the end zone, and there's the hit and the heads-up recovery at the bottom of that pile. Number 57 for the Raiders, Ricky Brown, saves the Raiders bacon.
Alteron Werner, the rookie out of UCLA, got his hat in there, and Jason Campbell leading this Oakland offense. Dan, it is rare that a player goes to the Raiders and there's less drama now than he had in his previous stop in Washington. He was dealing with a soap opera with the Redskins on a 1st and 10 of the 22. Raiders open up. Campbell. Slap down. Penetration from Jason Jones. They're expecting big things out of the third-year defensive tackle out of Eastern Michigan. Darren McFadden was the intended target. Let's take a look at this starting Oakland offense. Talk about big. The rookie out of Hillsdale, Jared Veldheer, 6'8", 315 pounds at center. Backs and receivers. We know that Campbell had great chemistry with Chris Cooley in Washington. He's expecting more of the same with Zach Miller, who's led the Raiders in receiving each of the last 2 years. On a 2nd and 10 now for the Raiders. Long count and movement. Dave Ball jumped on that near side. No whistle had blown or no flag was thrown.
But everybody stopped regardless. Still no flag on the field. We'll see what Bill Levy has to say.
5-yard penalty. Second down.
That's a flagless penalty. Bad start for the Raiders. They can't even get a screen pass off on first down. The pressure by Jason Jones right up the middle. Then on second down, false start. Don't forget the fumble on the kickoff return.
Raiders now face a 2nd and 15. Khalif Barnes is in at left tackle for the Raiders. We know that Mario Henderson has had some problems. It's Barnes, the veteran, getting the nod. On a give for McFadden, and there's no hole up the middle. Tony Brown, the veteran, leading the way for Tennessee defensively. Pyle getting pushed and a lot of shoving going on. We take a look at the starting defense for Tennessee. Jason Babin in for the injured William Hayes. Hayes unable to start this one because of a sprained MCL. He tweaked that injured knee. Will Witherspoon unexpectedly, his mother passed away earlier this week, in the lineup for Tennessee. And in the secondary, Cortland Finnegan, one of the elite cornerbacks in the NFL. Finnegan, a Pro Bowler in 2008. Jacoby Ford, rookie out of Clemson, in as a third receiver. Campbell, deep drop. Got plenty of time. Safety valve to the outside. And he gets it over to Brandon Myers, the tight end, for a 5-yard gain. And a shaky start for the Oakland offense. They'll be forced to punt.
Yeah, and real smart defense by the Titans here on third down and really long. Just playing a zone. You can see everybody just looking at the quarterback. And as the ball is completed to the outside quickly, Finnegan comes up, and he had help from the inside as well. But one thing that the Raiders did, eyeing on second down, was they went with an extra offensive lineman. That's why Barnes was in at left tackle.
Shane Leckler punting. And it's Mark Mariani, the rookie, on the return. And Mariani is thrown down. He tried to get to the outside, but Tyvon Branch would have none of it. A 54-yard punt and a 2-yard return for Mariani. So we'll see the Titans offense for the first time, 13:35 mark of this first quarter. Oakland 5-11 last year. And the Titans led by Vince Young, 26-13 record as a starter in the NFL. Dan, last year there was certainly some growth and development from Young.
One thing to remember for the Titans, Mike Heimerdinger, their offensive coordinator, and Vince Young, this is only their 11th game working together. Remember, Young was injured early in the first game of the year a couple years back when Heimerdinger came back to Tennessee.
And a double tight end set. They'll run the option on first down. Young with long strides. Cut down from behind as he hit the 44-yard line. Rolando McClain, the talented rookie out of Alabama, giving chase. It's a 20-yard burst for the quarterback, Vince Young. First play from scrimmage.
And obviously the Raiders are more concerned with Chris Johnson on this option than they are with Vince Young. But Vince Young averaged 5.1 yards per carry last season. And what a way to start. Ball all the way out to their 44-yard line.
And Michael Huff was out of position. He got turned around, and Young took advantage on a 1st and 10 now from the 44. They'll go to the running play. And Johnson puts his head down and scoots ahead for a 4-yard pickup. Quentin Grove, the former Jaguar, in there to make the play. Let's take a look at this starting Tennessee offense. On that line again, no Kevin Mawai. He's retired after 16 years, 8 Pro Bowls. Eugene Amano shifts over from guard to start at center. Back to receivers. Tight end is an impact position for this Tennessee team. Bo Scaife. You'll see Craig Stevens as a blocker, and they're very high on Jared Cook in his second year out of South Carolina. On a 2nd and 6, just shy of midfield for the Titans. Young to throw it. Protection holds up. Young slings for a first down. Nate Washington into Oakland territory. And he is twirled down after the 11-yard pickup shy of the 40-yard line. Titans are on the move.
Well, you talked about the protection holding up. I should say, look at the lane that the 6'5" Young has to throw through. The patience to let his receiver uncover in the secondary, and another positive play for the Titan offense.
So new set of downs for Tennessee to work with. Line of scrimmage is the 41. Cook lines up as a receiver on the far side. Young, swing pass. Johnson getting him out in space. And Johnson forced to the sideline by Michael Huff, the safety. It's a loss of 2 on that pass play. Oakland defensively, big problem stopping the run each of the last 3 years. They're starting a rookie at defensive end. Lamar Houston, second-round pick out of Texas. Another rookie. That was a big focus in the draft. Rolando McClain, great instincts. Number 8 pick overall. He's at middle linebacker. And in the secondary, Nnamdi Asomugha, one of the best in the business. 2 straight Pro Bowls. He doesn't see a lot of balls thrown his way. Now a 2nd and 12 out of the gun. Young, timing play up top, juggled and dropped. Justin Gage, the intended receiver, a big target at 6'4". Stanford Route had the coverage for Oakland.
Yeah, at 6'4", the defensive back Route at 6'1", and the ball thrown high and in a perfect spot for Gage, but Route got his right hand in there with an excellent play to knock it out.
So a 3rd and 12 now for Tennessee. Had their problems last year on 3rd and long, 19th in the NFL. Kenny Britt lines up as a 3rd receiver. Chris Johnson is in. Oakland's version of Chris Johnson in the nickel. Deep drop, and Young loses the football. Still loose. Raiders have got it. Richard Seymour coming out of the pack. Tennessee turns it over, and Tom Cable, his defense comes up big.
Yeah, it's Cameron Wembley, the linebacker, defensive end hybrid that they got from the Cleveland Browns with the first big play for the Raider defense. And then it's a scramble. I'm not sure why this ball wasn't blown dead right here. Perhaps Seymour was not contacted, but there is Wembley coming in and spinning the quarterback around, and Vince Young has got to have better ball control in that pocket. Great rush by Wembley.
So the 5-time Pro Bowler Seymour on the recovery. Wembley had 26.5 sacks in 4 years with Cleveland, including 11 as a rookie. And the Raiders open up with a 1st and 10 at the Tennessee 34. McFadden by himself in the backfield. Campbell. And he is dumped. Will Witherspoon cutting through on the blitz.
Well, again, it's the Raiders with an extra offensive lineman in there. Khalif Barnes playing the strong side here. And Wembley just comes free and drops the quarterback in the back. Lucky for Campbell, he got a whiff of Winborn coming, so he hung onto the ball, as Vince Young did not.
So how about that? 6 offensive linemen, and they still can't protect the quarterback. On a 2nd and 17 now. McFadden. The acceleration from McFadden to pick up a yard as he gets to the 40. Winborn and Javon Hay combined to bring him down.
You know, that's part of the style that Jeff Fisher and Chuck Cecil, their defensive coordinator, want this Titan defense to play. They want the defensive line to rush the passer and then play the run on the run as you're getting toward the quarterback. You saw penetration that time, and that forced McFadden to run wide, and he got very little on that play.
Cortland Finnegan telling us we've all bought into Chuck Cecil, 11 men to the ball. We like the idea of being a no-name defense. On a 3rd and 16. Raiders have been moving in the wrong direction on offense. Campbell trying to set up the deep ball, and he's sacked. Flag is thrown. Derek Morgan, the rookie out of Georgia Tech, getting Campbell down low.
Personal foul, number 90 of the defense, going to the knees of the quarterback.
Yeah, you can't go low on the quarterback's
penalty,
knees. That's
down.
what Bill Levy calls on this play, but you got to wonder about the call, because all that is happening here by Morgan is just a dive in there. He's being pushed from behind, blocked from behind, and yet he draws the flag.
Well, that's what Fisher is saying. That Morgan was forced in there on the push as he stumbled around on that spin move.
Safety issue. And you're not going to win the battle, the argument, when it comes to safety.
The number 16 pick overall and led the ACC in sacks last year with 12.5. Raiders get a 1st down, empty backfield. Shotgun Campbell throws and connects. Yaman figures. And he is spun down to the 25-yard line. Michael Griffin with the stick for Tennessee. It's a 7-yard hookup.
It's interesting, the chess game going on here between the Raiders offensive line and the defense of the Titans. The Raiders are max protecting and still not giving their quarterback time to find receivers.
Raiders break the huddle quickly on a 2nd and 4. McFadden just trying to get going. Keeps the legs churning. And McFadden could not break free of Tony Brown, who actually threw him forward. McFadden ends up getting an extra yard. It's a 1st down and a 7-yard pickup for the former Arkansas star.
Now, how big is that call on Derek Morgan? Look now as the Raiders move inside the red zone.
So the ball spotted at the 19-yard line for Oakland. They got the benefit of the 1st down off the penalty. Zach Miller goes in motion. 1st quarter action continuing. McFadden cannot get through that 1st level. Jason Jones reading it perfectly. Jeff Fisher made sure to point out when we talked to him on Friday, he believes Jones is going to have a breakout season.
Yeah, double digit as a sacker, and that's unusual for a guy playing the defensive tackle position. But it just appears that the Titans defense is quicker than the bigger, larger offensive line of the Raiders.
Biggest offensive line in the NFL, yes?
At least the tallest.
Johnny Lee Higgins is in on the 7th play of this drive and a 2nd and 11. Campbell, quick throw to the perimeter, and he makes the connection to McFadden. Griffin all over it for Tennessee, limits McFadden to a 3-yard gain.
Talked about how big this offensive line is. It's a good thing Jason Campbell is 6'5", because he's looking over a wall, especially right in the middle there with the rookie from Hillsdale College, Jared Veldheer, 6'8", tallest center in the history of the National Football League. That's saying something.
And comparisons to former Raider center Don Mosbar, who was 6'6", went to 3 Pro Bowls between 1983 and 1995. On a 3rd and 8 now for Oakland. That play didn't get off cleanly. Flags down. There was movement.
Number 7, the offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
And that's one of those big guys, Langston Walker, 6'8", 360 on the right side.
Well, that's what happens to an offensive lineman who feels that the quickness of the defense starts to get into the head of these guys, and they want to get that quick start. Way too quick for Langston Walker that time.
In 2009, Raiders were 31st in total offense. They averaged just over 12 points per game. That was just ahead of St. Louis. Rams averaged just under 11. High snap. Campbell forced to go back to get it and now try to improvise. A good play by Campbell to make something out of that play, which could have been disastrous. It turns out to be a gain of 1. As Campbell and Veldheer just trying to get on the same page, and that's going to happen in this new relationship.
Well, this was chicken salad made by Jason Campbell here after this center by Jared Veldheer. Way too high, way too hard. Good bounce for Campbell, though. Sets up Janikowski for this field goal.
39-yard attempt for Sebastian Janikowski. Now in his 11th year in the NFL. He's got a big leg. From 39 yards away. No good. The Raiders come up empty. And a flag down.
Number 31, 5-yard penalty. Repeat 4th down.
Offsides called against Tennessee. So again, the Raiders benefit from a penalty flag called against Jeff Fisher's squad.
And do you really want to give Janikowski another attempt? A mulligan, perhaps. He hit 26 of 29 last year, and this ball hooks at the very last minute outside the uprights, but he's got it gauged now.
That was a corkscrew off the left foot of Janikowski.
He has so much power, almost like a golfer trying to put a little extra into it. His first attempt of the season, and he missed it, but that won't count.
His father, Henrik, was a professional soccer player. He's the Raiders' all-time leading scorer. Now a 34-yard attempt, trying to get Oakland on the board. Leckler will hold it. John Kondo, the snapper, from 34 yards away, and it's good.
He played the hook perfectly that time, aimed for the left upright, and it hooked in just perfectly.
He sure did. 3-0 Raiders in front. They take advantage of a Vince Young miscue off the defensive play from Cameron Wembley. Janikowski, a field goal, 3-0. Raiders lead it. Janikowski kicks it off. Mark Mariani is the return man, the rookie out of Montana, getting an opportunity. Mariani tripped up. Oh boy, it looked like he had some daylight in front of him. Rock Cartwright making the play on special teams, and Vince Young will bring this Titans offense back on the field, trailing 3-0 when we come back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. The new 2011 Mustang, a whole new breed of car. And by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
Tennessee Titans with a football, a 1st and 10 at the 26. Raiders lead 3-0. On a quick count, handoff to Chris Johnson, and he is buried. Raiders were prepared. Richard Seymour leading that charge. In television, we like alliteration. So that means we like the Fouts focus.
Well, I like Chris Johnson, too. You know, he set a goal last year to get 2,000 yards. He got that. He's got all the skills of a great runner. It starts with his eyes. It's the vision, then it's the patience, and then the confidence to hit the seam, and then the incomparable 4.2 40 speed. He's got it all.
Handoff, Johnson, and bangs his way just past the original line of scrimmage and picks up a yard on the play. Rolando McClain making the stop for Oakland. NFL Today update, first of the season. Let's head to New York and JB.
Ian and Dan, wide receiver Wes Welker, the Patriots, back after that knee injury in the last regular season game. Looking healthy here on the receiving end of that swing pass from Tom Brady. They are on top of the Cincinnati Bengals, 7-0. Let's take it back to Ian Eagle and Dan Fouts.
You get the sense the Patriots are angry at everybody right now?
Well, they're not getting the respect that they're used to getting. Well, Tom Brady's getting respect.
Financially, 3rd and 9. Young out of the pocket, throwing on the move, and broken up. Flag is thrown. Justin Gage and Tyvon Branch matched up along the perimeter.
I'm not sure Branch needed to make this contact. He was right in the back pocket of Justin Gage. But he's going to get flagged for the pass interference. But he was close enough to where he could have just stuck out his right hand and knocked the ball away without running through the receiver. Young buys time with his legs, as nobody in the league can do as well. There's the push and then the flag. But Gage should have come back to this ball a little bit. He kind of just waits for it, absorbs the contact. 1st down, Tennessee.
And a 17-yard penalty. Line of scrimmage just short of the 45. Play action, Young. Deep ball, separation. Touchdown, Nate Washington. Home run ball, Vince Young. Titans take the lead. No.
The play action was absolutely perfect for Tennessee, as Washington will come in and then go to the post here. Young with his ability to get outside and just way too much speed. Nate Washington getting behind Stanford route.
Nate Washington came to Tennessee with a reputation of being a deep threat. Last year he actually became more of a possession receiver. Used to be with the Pittsburgh Steelers, won a Super Bowl there, won 2 in fact with the Steelers. Extra point is good from Rob Baronis and Vince Young. Everybody talks about the maturity that it's happening for Vince Young. They dial up the big play. 3 plays, 74 yards. Tennessee in front. I was excited on many levels, but you try to work in new touchdown calls, and I'm thinking Bookham Dano could be my new touchdown call.
Yeah, well, I'll get back to you on that.
You don't think it's going to catch on, huh?
It might. Prime time, perhaps.
Rob Barone is kicking off to Yamon Figures. Deep kick, and Figures forced to take a knee deep in the end zone. Jason Campbell will get another crack at this Tennessee defense when we return.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by AT&T. Rethink possible. And by the Capital One Venture Card. What's in your wallet?
Among the many changes for the Oakland Raiders, offensively, they've changed their philosophy. Hugh Jackson is the offensive coordinator. He's taken the principles from Baltimore, where he was the quarterback coach, handoff to McFadden, and McFadden zigzags his way out across the 25-yard line for a 7-yard pickup. There is Hugh Jackson. Jason Campbell telling us that he's really liked the time that he spent with him, that he feels like the offense fits him perfectly. The attitude works for him. Very thorough. He thought it was similar to Al Saunders, some of his philosophies back when Campbell was in Washington.
But Hugh Jackson will be in your face, and the players have responded very positively to his energy as a coach.
On a 2nd and 3 now for Oakland. Raiders have not been able to sustain a drive. Well, they do have 3 points on the board thanks to Tennessee penalties. McFadden takes a hit at the 30 and picks up 3 yards. Chris Hope laying out the timber for Tennessee.
Well, a lot of blue paint on that silver helmet too. You can see it looked like it might have been holding there by Mario Henderson, but a good dip inside and then the speed to get to the corner and pick up the first down by McFadden.
McFadden missed most of the preseason with a hamstring injury. He's had knee issues last year, turf toe as a rookie. They're waiting for that next step in his development. He's only had one 100-yard rushing game in his career. It came in his 2nd game of his rookie season. Rush coming. Oh, smothered. Campbell loses the football. Jacob Ford came busting through. Titans claim they've got a touchdown. They do. Michael Griffin on the recovery.
I'm not sure our referee, Bill Levy, thought it was a touchdown at first. He may say that Campbell was down. Here's his call.
Touchdown.
He started to point to the ground after the ball was fumbled, as if he was going to rule that Jason Campbell was down, but heads up to pick up that ball by Michael Griffin and get in the end zone. That's the 2nd time he has scored. Here's Levy. Watch his motion here. He's coming in. He did not see the ball. The ball was on the other side. He actually called timeout before Griffin went to the end zone. And now Tom Cable saw exactly that on the replay board, and he will challenge us, or at least get a conversation from our referee, Bill Levy.
Oakland is challenging the ruling on the field of a fumble. We'll review the play.
This is going to be a real interesting ruling because Levy is going to be ruling against himself on this play.
We'll have that for you. The coach's challenge when we come back. Tennessee with a touchdown on the board. Will it be nullified? Michael Griffin, the safety, ball hawking safety on the recovery and the touchdown for Tennessee. That was the ruling on the field. But Tom Cable is challenging this call. There are a number of things in play here, Dan. First starting, is it a fumble?
Great pressure by Jacob Ford as he goes around Henderson. There's some thought that perhaps the right knee of Campbell touched the ground or just grazed it before the ball came out. And was there contact there when Griffin made the recovery? Here's the hit. Hard to tell where the ball is at this point, and Levy certainly couldn't see it. That's why he signaled that for the clock to stop after the quarterback sack. This is a great challenge by Tom Cable. A desperate call, perhaps, but it's one that they desperately need to keep from going behind by 11 points.
Bill Levy was on the other side as all of this happened. And here's the call.
After reviewing the play, it was a fumble. A signal by an official does not kill the play. The Tennessee Titan recovered the ball at the 23-yard line and then was touched there. It'll be Tennessee's ball, first down and 10 at the 23, where the recovering fumble player was down. With the clock operator put 3:06 on the game clock. Oakland will not be charged a timeout.
So the second part of this, right here, when Griffin jumps on the football, there is contact right there. And that was enough to rule that play dead.
And it's Mario Henderson who started the play by letting Jacob Ford run around him, causing a tremendous breeze, so much so that Henderson didn't move, and he was Johnny on the spot.
So the touchdown is taken off the board. It is a turnover, though, for Oakland, and Campbell coughing it up after that clean sack came from Ford, untouched on the edge. Titans have it with a 1st and 10 at the Oakland 23, trying to add to its lead. 7-3. Johnson makes one man miss. He just has not had a lot of room to work with as Johnson tried a little juke move. Lamar Houston didn't bite. It's a 1-yard gain.
The one thing that the Raiders, normally they like to play a lot of man-to-man, but when you've got a running back as fast and as elusive as Chris Johnson, you have to play more zone. You have to get more eyeballs watching him as he runs to the outside and tries to cut back to the inside, as he did that time.
He was one of the many players we talked to this weekend that plays with a chip on their shoulder. There were about 9 of them by the time we were done with our interviews.
Chips ahoy.
And Johnson thrown down, the silver and blacks fully prepared for Chris Johnson. Michael Huff, the number 7 pick from the 2005 draft, a decorated collegiate career, still trying to find his niche in the NFL.
And part of the reason that Chris Johnson plays with that chip is he feels that coming out of East Carolina, he did not get the respect that he thought he was due. 4 other players, including Darren McFadden, running backs, were drafted ahead of him.
So now a 3rd and 12 for Tennessee. Young will operate out of the shotgun. Johnson in the backfield. Protection is there. Young throws. Nobody home. It was in the direction of Nate Washington. They were not on the same page, and that was a shaky possession for Tennessee on offense. Mike Heimerdinger, their offensive coordinator. It's 4th down.
You know, sometimes the quarterback gets too much time to throw and too many options in the secondary. It looked like Bo Scaife may have been coming clear into the back of the end zone, and it appeared that Young was a bit confused as to who he should throw the ball to.
The very accurate Rob Baronis on 43-yard attempt. Amato will snap it. Britt Kern, the punter, will hold it. From 43 yards away, Baronis, he nails it. Titans extend their lead 10-3. They take advantage of the Oakland turnover, not the 7 that they thought they had. Campbell on the fumble. Titans get the football and turn it into 3 points. It's not too late to play NFL.com's all-new fantasy football game. The first and only game with video. It's free and it's easy to play. Sign up today at NFL.com/fantasy. In the first quarter, Rob Baronis will kick it off after the 4-play drive. They lost 2 yards. Following that fumble recovery, Baronis banged through a 43-yard field goal. Tennessee with a 10-3 advantage over Oakland. Lamont Figures deep for the Raiders. Figures will take it out of the end zone. Right down the middle. And that hole closed up in a hurry as Patrick Bailey, the former Steeler, made the play on special teams. 22-yard return. Offensive line, major issues right now.
Well, this is a sack by Jamie Winborn. Then they got a penalty on Langston Walker. A bad snap by the rookie center, Jared Valdir. Not the way you want to start your Oakland career for Jason Campbell as Jacob Ford runs right around his left tackle. And that has been a problem for the Raiders, not just last year when they gave up 49 sacks, but throughout the preseason. That's led to the injury to Jason Campbell when he suffered the bad wrist and stinger against the 49ers in Game 3 of the preseason.
On a 1st and 10 for Oakland. Flag thrown. Errant pass looking for Darius Hayward-Bay. And penalty marker on the play.
They may have gotten Jason Babin for a quick start
offside.
there.
Number 98 defense. 5-yard penalty.
That's David Ball.
First down.
David Ball was taking the place of Jacob Ford that time. Saw how it worked for Ford. Trying to get that jump. It's called for the offsides.
Now Tennessee will rotate defensive linemen in. Ball, Babin, Derek Morgan, the rookie who we saw earlier from Georgia Tech. They've got Derek Marks and Javon Hay as well. Michael Bennett will now get an opportunity in the backfield. He's the 10-year veteran. It's McFadden. And McFadden finally busting it to the outside and getting some daylight. Forced out of bounds. He picks up 13 on the play.
Really creative play by Hugh Jackson and the Raider offense. McFadden lining up at the wing and gets a good block there by Langston Walker, although Titans fans were screaming for a block in the back, but he gave up the block on Winborn and let McFadden pick up that first down.
Darren McFadden limited to 12 games in 2009. The question, is he a lead back? Can he handle the wear and tear? Under a minute to go in this first quarter. Miller goes in motion. New set of downs for Oakland. Pressure coming. Campbell popped up in the air. Free ball. And knocked down. Dave Ball got a piece of it. And Campbell could not get into that play cleanly.
Looked like a perfect bump set spike there, didn't it? Ball up high in the air. Watch Campbell come in and spike that ball to the ground. Heads up by Jason Campbell. That had disaster written all over it. But Campbell saw the ball all the way. He saw it hit Ball, and then he went and hit Ball.
He went Karch Karai. Make sure that it wasn't another turnover for Oakland. They trail 10-3 with 43 seconds to go in this opening quarter. Again, 6 offensive linemen. Max protect. Pump fake. Campbell's got time. Throwing deep ball. Too high. Louis Murphy was open. He had a crease. And it's incomplete.
Boy, and Jason Campbell is going to talk to Louis Murphy and say, have you got 2 hands, Louis? If you do, please use them. Over the middle, you cannot just afford to put up 1 hand. This ball is well thrown right down the gut. It's going to be a huge play, and yet Murphy can only manage to get his left hand on it. Didn't lose his feet. Got to make that catch.
3rd and 10. Crowd is energized here in Nashville. Oakland yet to convert on a 3rd down. Shotgun formation. Campbell flushed out. Campbell on the move. He's got some room. Slides down right at the 1st down marker. And they're going to rule him short.
Well, they're not going to give him this slide. They're going to mark it exactly where he started because he went feet first. If he goes head first, maybe, just maybe, he will pick up the 1st down.
And he still had room.
Vincent Fuller was standing there and ready to drill the quarterback, but you can't hit him if he goes feet first.
So if it's a dive by Campbell, it's a new set of downs for Oakland. Instead, it's a slide, and they come up a yard short. End of the first quarter here in Nashville. The Titans leading the Raiders 10-3. NFL kickoff weekend on CBS. Ian Eagle, Dan Fouts, the rest of our CBS crew. Week 1 in the NFL. The Tennessee Titans with a 10-3 lead over Oakland. Shane Lechler will punt it to start this second quarter. And Mark Mariani is the return man standing at his own 9-yard line. Lechler, best punter in the NFL. 5 Pro Bowls. Averaged 51.1 yards per punt in 2009. Just shy of the all-time record set by Sammy Baugh back in 1940. Mariani catches cleanly and then able to advance it just short of the 15-yard line. We are just underway. Second quarter, 49-yard punt, a 6-yard return, and a 7-point lead for Tennessee. Last season, Tennessee Titans were second in the NFL in rushing, 162 yards per game, just behind the New York Jets. They've been limited to 23 yards on the ground through the first quarter. And it was 1 carry for 20 yards for Vince Young. Young. Safety valve. Craig Stevens. And Stevens known more as a blocker, stepping in to that Algie Crumpler role. Cameron Wimbley there to make the play. So Chris Johnson, very limited through the first quarter, Dan.
Well, he was limited in preseason too, but do you really worry about Chris Johnson? I mean, he's the type of guy that can get bottled up for a while, and then all of a sudden he's going 85 yards for a touchdown. And all of a sudden his average is right where it should be.
Right now he's got 5 carries for 3 yards. He averaged 125 yards per game on the ground last season. Johnson gets a carry here And there's nothing to work with. Richard Seymour read it perfectly. He was the first man there and got some help from Big John Henderson, the Nashville native. In his first year with the Oakland Raiders, Henderson from Pearl Cone High School won back-to-back state titles.
You know, the great thing about Richard Seymour, and there's a lot of great things to like, his Super Bowl rings with the Patriots, but his leadership, the way he has helped Tommy Kelly and now John Henderson up front, they're really stuffing the run when the Titans try to run between the tackles.
No doubt. Lamar Houston has leaned on him as well, the rookie out of Texas. On third down, Johnson cutting it to the outside. And Chris Johnson able to shift it for a first down.
Yeah, that's just Chris Johnson right there. I mean, he just froze the defense. Watch as he gets this ball. He freezes two of the linebackers right there. And Quentin Groves, who's playing linebacker for the first time for the Raiders, got a lesson in the quickness of Chris Johnson. Great run, the best run of the day for Chris Johnson so far.
Yeah, we talked to Groves yesterday, the former Jacksonville Jaguar. He said Johnson, his stop-and-go abilities are ridiculous. That's the quote. I've never seen anybody do it quite the way that he does. Now it's Johnson running inside and some tough yardage on the interior. He comes up just short of the 35. It's a 4-yard pickup. Henderson again in on the stop. Another former Jacksonville Jaguar signed to a 1-year deal and a 2-time Pro Bowler with the Jags.
Boy, and they like his size. Big John, 6'7", 335 to go along with the 6'6" Seymour, who goes 310. So a lot of beef in the middle of that Oakland defensive line.
Yeah, Seymour, that leadership you talked about, he said as a rookie in New England, Anthony Pleasant played a big role in him developing. Pleasant was a veteran, now a defensive line coach with Kansas City. Also leaned on Willie McGinnis quite a bit. Young to throw, steps up in the pocket. Young stays on his feet, and Vince Young into Oakland territory. Very creative. It's a 16-yard run for Young.
Quentin Groves talked about Chris Johnson's stop and go. Now he's going to be talking about the swivel hips of Vince Young. Young breaks the pocket. He had a lot of time to throw, but it's man-to-man coverage by the Raiders. They have their back turned to him, and now he's going to embarrass number 52 right there and pick up a first down. Heads up. Feet first slide for Vince Young, avoiding the hit.
Most rushing yards among quarterbacks in the NFL since he came into the league. Number 3 pick overall in 2006, went to the Pro Bowl that year. Javon Ringer is going to get an opportunity. Diminutive at 5'9", but tough and rugged. In his second year out of Michigan State, Rolando McClain, the first man there. It's a 2-yard pickup.
And Jeff Fisher talked about the development of VY, Vince Young. A better sense of the offense, but it's his comfortable level now with running, using his legs, when to run. If the defense is in a man-to-man coverage, as they were that time for the Raiders, go ahead, take off and run. You're going to run away from people.
Yeah, he had a great quote. Fisher said, he's finally at peace with his legs. He knows when to run, when he shouldn't run.
And when to get down when trouble's coming.
And Young was able to sense that. He goes down, 10:49 mark of this second quarter. Tennessee leading Oakland 10-3. It'll be a 3rd and 9 for the Titans.
Titans have given Vince Young pretty good pass protection in this first half. He's 4 of 6 for 74 yards. Of course, most of those yards came on that long touchdown pass to Nate Washington.
Titans offense picked up in those last 10 games last season. They averaged 27 points per game and 376 yards of offense. Dime package now for Oakland, crowding the line. Shotgun formation for Young and a flag thrown.
False start, number 54, offense. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And that's the center, Eugene Amano.
Can you really have a false start if you're the guy that starts the play? Isn't everybody else just slow?
He was starting. It was everybody else that was waiting.
That appeared it was his leg that he got a little twitch there. Yeah, a little hump there in the hike.
Almost a fake squeeze. And a 3rd and 14 now for Amano. Johnson parallel with Young out of the gun. Protection is there. Able to find Bo Scaife. He's going to come up well short of a first down. Former college teammates at Texas. It's an 8-yard pickup. Rolando McClain with the stick. And Tennessee is forced to punt.
Good decision by John Marshall, defensive coordinator for the Raiders, just rushing 3, playing zone behind it. So when Scaife catches the ball, there's a couple of Raiders eyeballing him and keeping him way short of the first down.
Brett Kern on to punt it. Officially replaced veteran Craig Hentrick, who retired from the NFL. Lamont Figures is standing at his own 10-yard line. Career average of 8 yards per return, a long of 75 and a touchdown. Figures is going to let this one bounce. It goes straight up in the air, and now will take a Tennessee roll inside the 10. Titans will touch it up. Raiders will be pinned deep in their own territory after the 37-yard punt. Campbell will try to get the Raiders offense in order when we come back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. FedEx, we understand. You need a winning game plan. FedEx. And by Denny's 2468 value menu. Try 16 different value meals all day, every day.
Coming up on the Sprint halftime report, JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Cowher, the latest NFL scores and highlights, plus a special preview of the U.S. Open men's final, Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal. It's coming up on the Sprint halftime report. Tennessee 10, Oakland 3, 9:03 to play in this first half from LP Field in Nashville, 69,000 plus on hand.
Yeah, the Raiders haven't gotten their tight end Zach Miller involved in the offense at all, except for pass blocking. 0 catches for Zach Miller. That's 66 last year.
Raiders with a record of 29-83 since the start of the 03 season. Darren McFadden gets the call, and McFadden plunges for 3. Jovan Hay there to make the play for the Titans. Yeah, what's your sense with McFadden? Does he have the goods to be a big-time running back in the NFL? We've seen the Arkansas footage, and it looks like, oh boy, he was going to be an impact player in the NFL. It hasn't happened.
Well, it's a different style of offense that he ran in with the Razorbacks. In the NFL, there's a lot more contact. He certainly has the speed, though, to be a breakaway runner.
Everybody talked about the explosive ability. It just has not been on display in the silver and black. Straight ahead for McFadden, and it's Hay again having a big day for Tennessee on that defensive line. And defensive captain Stephen Tulloch getting in on that stop, limiting McFadden to a gain of 1.
Tulloch, who was shocked to be named defensive captain. Shocked because he didn't take part in any of the OTAs, but has the respect of his teammates. And at 5'11", 240 pounds, a smaller middle linebacker, but another one of those guys with a chip on his shoulder.
He was always told he couldn't play in the NFL, and those doubters are still in his head. On a 3rd and 6, Campbell, short drop, a throw, incomplete. Lewis Murphy, the intended target. And the passing game has been completely out of sync for the Oakland Raiders.
That's because the pass protection has been absolutely horrible. 3-step drop that time. Campbell's been sacked 3 times here in the first half. You can see that time the timing was off between him and his receiver.
Leckler will punt. And Mark Mariani is standing at the 33-yard line. Shorter punt for Leckler. It pops up in the air. It takes a roll near Mariani, and an Oakland bounce beeline towards the sideline. Well, Chris Johnson, we finally saw a little bit of the 2009 version last possession. They'll take the field when we come back. When we spoke with Chris Johnson, we asked him about running the option. He said he'd never done it in high school or college, so it's been a lot of fun for him to finally get a chance to be a part of an option offense, and we've seen that wrinkle just a bit here today.
And I would suspect that we might see it more, as it was very effective. Another bad snap.
False start. Number 73, offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Well, Jake Scott, former Indianapolis Colt, called on the false start. Won a Super Bowl with the Colts. It's turned out to be a good fit with this Tennessee offensive line. Signed as a free agent in 2008. Tennessee with a 10-3 lead, 7:34 to go in the first half. And Vince Young heading towards the Titans sideline now. Play clock is down to 9. Going to have to use a timeout. We'll step aside. Titans up by 7 on the Oakland Raiders.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bank of America. And by the Miller Lite aluminum pint. For more ounces of that great Pilsner taste.
Tennessee 123 yards of offense. Oakland just 38. And the Titans with a 10-3 lead over the Raiders. 7:34 to play in the first half. First and 15 after the penalty called against Jake Scott. And Johnson, single setback. Delayed handoff. Johnson up the middle. Able to hit that hole for a 5-yard gain. Vince Young, what have you seen so far, Dan?
Well, first play of the game, it started out very well. 20-yard run on this option play. And then he uses his leg to buy time to find Nate Washington for that 56-yard touchdown catch. And then on a huge third down here, he picks up 15. So it hasn't been Chris Johnson's legs. It's been Vince Young's legs so far.
We asked him about his development. He said, for the first time, I feel like I know what the defense is doing now, studying, getting reps. And Young will float that one to the sideline, incomplete. Decision-making. Kerry Collins has played a big role in addition to Mike Heimerdinger in Vince's development.
And it's been in the quarterback situations where Kerry Collins has helped him so much. The third down situations, the 2-minute offense, the 4-minute offense, and just how to play in the fourth quarter, making good decisions. That throwaway there, that was a good decision.
Kerry now in his 16th year in the NFL, went to the Pro Bowl in 1996 and 2008, nearly 40,000 career passing yards. He's Young's backup. Rusty Smith, rookie out of Florida Atlantic, is the third stringer. On a 3rd and 9 from the gun. Young, time is there. Young throwing, open man, and a first down into Oakland territory. Vince Young able to make the connection.
Well, when you have 5 seconds to throw, you should make the connection. Raiders have no pass rush to speak of so far in this first half. That was great anticipation. And Ian, you talked about him knowing what the defenses are. He knew this was a zone, and he knew he could drop this ball in front of Michael Huff. Big play, 2 back-to-back smart plays by Vince Young. That one for 21.
Nate Washington had the touchdown earlier, then a big reception here on 3rd down, and look where the Titans are set up in Oakland territory, just inside the 40. Trying to break Johnson loose. Strong block from Eugene Amato as Johnson accelerates out across the 30-yard line.
That's the thing about Chris Johnson. He rarely seems to take a head-on hit from the defenders. It's always a glancing blow, just like that, or like that. Picks up another first down for the Titans.
During the offseason, Johnson had a chance to talk with the likes of the legendary Jim Brown and Tony Dorsett, and they told him about handling success and how to stay focused even after the big breakout season he had in 2009. Handoff, it's Johnson. This time gets stacked up. No gain on the play. Richard Seymour again involved. Breeze did in the season opener. Brett Favre, Tom Brady. That's a strong start. Eli Manning with a couple of picks. Rushing leaders. Peterson had 87 yards. Pierre Thomas 71. DeAngelo Williams 46 yards on the ground. And in this game, Nate Washington, the big fantasy performer, with 3 catches, 88 yards, and a touchdown. On a 2nd and 10. Shotgun, quick throw, and complete. Craig Stevens lunging for the first down. We'll see where they spot the football. He might have been brought down just before the marker by Trevor Scott. It's going to go down as a 9-yard gain.
He only caught 1 pass all last season. He's got 2 here in the first half. And at 270 pounds, watch the strength here. Trevor Scott makes contact with him, and he still gets 3 yards and close to a first down.
Well, as a defense, you would forget about him. He's not really known as an offensive threat, and he's been able to sneak his way for a couple of catches so far today. 7th play of the drive on a 3rd and 1 now for Tennessee. Here's the option. On the pitch, Johnson's got the edge. takes the angle for a new set of downs. A 5-yard gain for Chris Johnson.
A couple of things on this play, Ian. First of all, it's short yardage, so the Raiders are going to be in man-to-man. Secondly, they go misdirection. Weak side and come back strong, and they really put Wembley in a tough situation there. Do I take Vince Young, or do I let him pitch the ball back to Chris Johnson? You're a loser with either decision when it comes to those two.
Chris Johnson recruited mostly as a cornerback coming out of high school. East Carolina was the only place that would let him play running back. Good decision. Javon Ringer is in. Big hole, and Ringer to the end zone. Touchdown, Tennessee. 15 yards. Titans add to their lead.
Well, and just a huge hole, and middle linebacker Rolando McClain is going to get blocked. Here's McClain right in the middle here. Look at the size of this hole, and it just continues. Great job of getting down the field. Craig Stevens with a key block there, and Ringer goes in standing up. First career touchdown.
Javon Ringer, the Dayton, Ohio native, steps in for Chris Johnson on one play, and he turns it into 6 points. Rob Barones can make it 7. Tacks on the extra point. And Tennessee with a 17-3 lead over Oakland. 3:45 to go. First half, 8 plays, 61 yards, and the Titans creating space for Ringer.
Great job at getting off by Leroy Harris on the middle linebacker McClain, and then Huff cannot come over because his legs are taken out by the flying Cameron Wembley. Ringer's first touchdown of his NFL career. I'm not sure if he'll ever get an easier one.
Coming up this Wednesday, it's the premiere of Survivor. Can former NFL coach Jimmy Johnson lead his team to victory? Don't miss Survivor on its new night. It premieres this Wednesday, only CBS. Titans with a 17-3 lead. Under 4 minutes to go now in this first half. So we've seen the Tennessee offense get going here in the first half. What we haven't seen is the Oakland offense find any kind of chemistry.
Yeah, the thing about the Tennessee offense, it's been keyed by Vince Young with his legs, and then finding Nate Washington for that big pass play. And then on third down, just a smart call by Mike Heimerdinger with the option play. Totally unstoppable. Raiders defense now are looking in all directions trying to stop Vince Young in this Titan offense.
Rob Barones will kick it off. Yamon Figures standing at the goal line. They'll take it from the 4. That stood up at the 15 and falling forward to the 20-yard line. That's where the Raiders will open up this drive after the 17-yard return. Ryan Mouton with a hit on special teams. Wednesday on Showtime, JB, Chris Collinsworth, Phil Simms, and Warren Sapp return. It's cable's longest-running show, the multi-award-winning Inside the NFL, every Wednesday on Showtime. Well, just by the process of comparison, Jason Campbell was going to get the benefit stepping in for Jamarcus Russell. But this has looked an awful lot like the 2009 Oakland offense.
Basically the same offensive line. It's the problem.
Play fake. Campbell. Short toss, and McFadden unable to haul it in.
Yeah, the thing about they're just searching for answers with their passing game. That time it was a play fake, really, in reality, to nobody. Campbell back in the pocket trying to move the pocket. Very poor fake by McFadden. Pressure, good heads up by Campbell here, and then he's victimized by his running back not being able to make that catch. And McFadden may have been able to get some big yardage if he had made the catch.
Marcel Reese, the fullback, also in the game. Handoff for McFadden, and McFadden is down quickly by Tony Brown, a penalty marker on the play.
Before the snap, false start, number 75 offense. 5-yard penalty, second down.
And that's Mario Henderson. And Dan, if you're Tom Cable, you have to take this personally as the head coach because the offensive line is supposed to be his bread and butter.
Well, it just didn't make very many changes in that offensive line. We talked about the 49 sacks they gave up last year in the first half. Campbell's gone down 3 times. He's been hit a number of times. They've lost 22 yards in offense. That's why they only have 4 yards of total offense so far.
2nd and 15. Pressure. And Campbell loses the football. Raiders have it with Marcel Reese on the recovery. But this has been a bonanza for Tennessee defensively. And Campbell has been a sitting duck.
Well, the defensive line of the Titans are really having a field day. Watch this spin move here by number 93, Babin. Jason Babin there playing for his 5th team. He gets the great move there, gets the hit on the quarterback and the fumble. So he'll get credit for a sack there.
Raiders facing a 3rd and 23. They'll go conservative. McFadden up the middle. And McFadden creates a little bit of space for Shane Lechler to work with as Jason McCourty will be given credit on the stop. A 13-yard pickup. And the Raiders will punt.
Titans will have 2 minutes to work with and the 2-minute warning.
And 2 timeouts. The Raiders trying to use as much time as possible here. Play clock is down to 15. Gamecock is at 2:15 and counting. Mariani standing at the 25. High sailing kick from Lechler. Mariani forced to backpedal to the 11. Turns it upfield, and he is brought down short of the 25 by the snapper John Kondo. 1:56 to play. 68-yard punt. Thursdays this fall, William Shatner is an outspoken father who tells it like he sees it. It's the new comedy, Bleep My Dad Says, premieres Thursday, September 23rd, after The Big Bang Theory, only CBS. We've hit the 2-minute warning in this second quarter. Tennessee with a 17-3 lead over Oakland. The Tennessee Titans 9-6 under Jeff Fisher in season openers. Fisher starting his 16th full season, 17th year overall as the head coach of the Titans. They've got 1:56 to work with here in the first half. Handoff. Chris Johnson! Johnson is gone! Chris Johnson takes it the distance. 76 yards for the touchdown. He is at a different level.
Yeah, you just can't afford to miss a tackle in the secondary. Tyvon Branch has a real good shot at him on this draw play. But watch the move right there and see ya. And now watch him look around. He's not even running full speed and nobody's catching him. Stanford Rao with a late shove in the end zone. Could have get called for a penalty there, but wow, Chris Johnson gone again.
Late stages, second quarter. If you're the Oakland Raiders, you're actually feeling pretty good about the way you've handled Chris Johnson in the first half. And you look at the numbers, 13 carries, 112 yards, and a touchdown for Johnson. Flagged down after the extra point from Baronis.
Raiders offsides, 12 straight 100-yard rushing games now for Chris Johnson. Just 2 shy of the all-time record.
Barry Sanders has the record, 14.
Offside. Number 26 defense. 5-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
Sanders set that back in 1997 when he went over 2,000 yards on the season. So yeah. Sanders, there's the 14 that we talked about.
And he did it all in one season. Marcus Allen did it in 2 seasons. And of course now Chris Johnson has his 12th straight 100-yard game. Set the goal for 2,500 yards this season. He need to average about 156 yards per game to get to that mark. Would you doubt him?
At this point, everything else he said has come true. Johnson has told us that there are guys in the league that get a lot of hype. Peterson and Bush, they get the commercials. Johnson said he's had to work harder to get the recognition, and that's what's motivated him to become the elite running back in the National Football League. Chris Johnson, 76-yard touchdown to give Tennessee a 24-3 lead over Oakland. Barones will kick it off. Figures standing at his own 1-yard line. 1:43 to play in this first half. Figures trying to curl it to the outside. And angles out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Another look at the magic of Chris Johnson on the ground.
Got to be a nightmare for any defensive back. Just one little move there, and then there's nobody closing on him. That's the amazing thing. Tyvon Branch, of course, is a safety, and he's usually the last line of defense. But you just can't let him loose. They've been doing such a good job of bottling him up, especially in the middle of the formation.
Branch got frozen at the line of scrimmage, and then Johnson was an absolute blur. 1:37 to play, first half. Tennessee now with a big lead. Campbell, shotgun, throws over the middle, complete to McFadden. And McFadden has got a first down across the 35. He got horse-collared Stephen Tulloch. And a penalty marker on the play.
That's such a dangerous type of tackle because a lot of times ankles are sprained, legs are broken. And that's another safety issue in the NFL.
Horse-collar tackle, number 55 of the defense. 15-yard penalty from the dead ball spot, first down.
That gives the Raiders life and good field position. The Raiders, of course, have all 3 of their timeouts to work with, but that's just the 4th completion of the first half for Jason Campbell, as many times as he's been sacked here in the first half.
Stephen Tulloch, we asked him about this defense. The word he used, aggressive. Everybody is accountable. He said that defensive coordinator Chuck Cecil is very direct with the players about their weaknesses. Campbell, deep drop, and another throw to McFadden over the middle. So that's been open on back-to-back plays, and McFadden able to turn it upfield for extra yardage.
Well, and what he does now is he's put the Raiders in Janikowski's range.
16-yard catch and run for Darren McFadden.
But where's the rest of the Raider pass offense? Only one pass has been directed to Lewis Murphy. Didn't make the catch over the middle. Darius Hayward-Bay has no receptions. Zach Miller, no receptions.
Johnny Lee Higgins is in there in the slot. A 3-receiver set for Campbell. Here comes the rush. Campbell gets rid of it, and it's Higgins with the catch. And spun down at the 30-yard line by Michael Griffin. So the 4th-year wide receiver out of Texas El Paso. Slim at 5'11", 185. Second and 8 now after the modest gain. From the 30. Handoff. McFadden's got a hole. No Michael Bush today because of surgery on his broken left thumb, which took place 13 days ago. It's a 9-yard gain and a timeout taken with 47 seconds left in this first half. Bush actually led the team in rushing last season with 589 yards. Sprint halftime report is coming up next. We'll have the whole crew back in New York. JB, Coach Cower, Dan, Shannon, Boomer. Sprint halftime report and a special preview of the U.S. Open Men's Championship, Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal.
This is such a crucial drive for the Raiders, and they've done a good job so far at getting the ball to McFadden with short passes, and then on that draw play, McFadden looking very good on this drive, especially after he dropped that short pass on the previous drive.
And Dan, I know you said they're in Janikowski's range, but the reality for Oakland, considering the way this first half has gone, they need a touchdown just for their mental state.
No question about that. A field goal would be a defeat for the Raiders at this point.
Trailing 24-3. Line of scrimmage just short of the 20-yard line. Shotgun for Campbell. Titans back off defensively. And a delay of game following the timeout.
Now you got to put that on the center. The young rookie, Jared Veldheer. Campbell was calling for the snap. Crowd was making a lot of noise, but still not that much noise. That's the 6th penalty of the first half against the Raiders.
Division II Hillsdale College, located in southern Michigan. The college's nickname the Chargers.
What's wrong with that?
Well, just throwing it out there.
Okay, I'll throw it right back.
He's a Raider now. 1st and 15. And Campbell can't handle that snap. Campbell throwing it towards the sideline and a penalty marker down. A diving attempt by McCourty for the interception.
Number 68 offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
And the offense completely disjointed right now for Oakland.
And now they may feel good about settling for a field goal.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They're heading backwards. They got that ball all the way at the 21-yard line. And now after this penalty, it's backed out to the 36.
40 seconds remain in the second quarter.
Still 2 timeouts to work with. And a lot of work to be done on offense.
First and 25. Campbell under duress. Dump off McFadden. And that's the one play that's been working for the Oakland Raiders. Over the middle to Darren McFadden and let him do the rest. A 14-yard gain out of bounds.
And one of the couple of things about Campbell is he has a strong arm. So he's in that Raider mold of being able to throw the deep ball and the deep comebacks, the crossing routes, the intermediate type of things. But the Titan defense has totally taken away all of that, especially on this drive. McFadden's been the only guy open on little dump-offs.
Jason Campbell, the 6th different opening week quarterback for the Raiders in the last 7 years. And a 2nd and 11 now for Oakland. Looking, end zone, bobbled and dropped. Trying to make the connection to Lewis Murphy. Incomplete. Michael Griffin there.
He might have got a finger on it, but I know he at least distracted Murphy, as it looked like the ball got through to Murphy's hands. But Griffin, reading the quarterback's eyes, it's a good pass by Campbell, too. Right on the line there. It looked like the left hand of Griffin may have just tipped this ball away at the last instant.
Rock Cartwright has checked in. Oakland 0 of 6 on 3rd down conversions today. This is a 3rd and 11 with 27 seconds to play in the half. Campbell, pressure, dump off. It's Cartwright. And Cartwright is spilled out shy of the 10-yard line. It's a 9-yard gain. He needed 11. Michael Griffin able to save the first down with 19 seconds to play.
So the Raiders will talk about going for it on 4th down, but the one thing that's been constant today has been the pressure on number 8. One more time, he's going to hit his wallet. That time it's compliments of Tony Brown. Fine tackle there. Good back-to-back plays by Griffin. One in the secondary, then coming up on run support after the short pass that time.
They have decided to send Sebastian Janikowski out there for a field goal.
Well, I don't like this decision at all. If I'm the quarterback, I'm trying my darndest to talk Cable out of this decision and go for it. Coach, we need to get a touchdown here. We kick a field goal, we're still down by 18.
4th down, Janikowski from 30 yards away. The punter Shane Leckler will hold it. Missed one earlier, but got a redo after the penalty. 30-yard attempt, Janikowski. And he drills it. 16 seconds to play first half. Tennessee now with a 24-6 lead on Oakland. Raiders owner Al Davis making the trip here to Nashville. Only 6 points on the scoreboard for Oakland in this first half. And that is half of what they averaged last year, 12 points per game.
It just appears that the Titans, their quickness and the way that the Titans can roll in that defensive line. They've got 7 guys that are ready to play, that have been playing on that defensive line. So they're fresh for Jeff Fisher, and they're just that much quicker than the offensive line of the Raiders at this point.
And that's the one area I think everybody was surprised about first 6 weeks of last year with Tennessee. Their defensive numbers were so out of whack compared to what we had grown accustomed to. They took a major step back. Injuries, a number of issues. They ranked 28th overall last year. That was after being ranked number 7 in 2008 defensively.
I think the adjustment of going from Jim Schwartz to Chuck Cecil was largely responsible for that slow start defensively. But to a man, they say they love Chuck Cecil. They like his attitude. They love Jim Schwartz, too, don't get me wrong. But different philosophy, different style of coaching. Cecil has their attention and their respect.
And Schwartz now the head man in Detroit. Janikowski kicking off. Mark Mariani will return it. Had a hole and was unable to get through that first wave of Hiram Eugene. It's a 23-yard return. Only 11 seconds remain on the clock in this first half.
I would expect the Titans to do the old kneel down play and be happy with a 24-6 lead at halftime.
Big numbers for Vince Young in that first half. 7 of 10 throwing the football, 112 yards and a touchdown. Another 34 yards on the ground.
Real good decision making in the pocket, and then when he gets out of the pocket and uses his legs.
Tennessee will hit the locker room with a 24-6 lead over Tom Cable's Oakland Raiders. And an electrifying run by that man, Chris Johnson, picking up where he left off from 2009. 112 yards on the ground in the first half overall for the NFL's leading rusher 1 year ago. 2006 rushing yards in 2009. The sixth man to crack the 2,000-yard plateau.
The amazing thing about Chris Johnson, he also led the Titans in receiving last year. Does it all.
24-6, Titans in front. This is the NFL on. NFL on CBS, getting ready for the start of the second half in Nashville. Tennessee leading Oakland 24-6. Ian Eagle, Hall of Famer Dan Fouts rejoining you here in the broadcast booth for Tennessee. Vince Young, excellent showing in that first half. The maturity that was talked about from last year feeding into this year. Chris Johnson, the big play. For Oakland, much of the same from a year ago. Change of quarterback. Everybody talked about the fresh start. The numbers are the same.
Well, the problem has been protecting the quarterback. Jason Campbell's been sacked 4 times. He's lost 2 fumbles. He's had problems with the exchange with his rookie center, Valdir. They have no running game to talk about. Got to get Zach Miller involved. He's their main guy in the pass offense. He's got to get some balls directed his way. Darius Hayward-Bay, if he is the difference maker, he's going to have to show up in the second half.
And now let's take a look at the points of protection presented by Allstate. We mentioned Young, 112 passing yards, a touchdown, 33 rushing yards. Johnson had the 76-yard rushing touchdown, and Campbell just dealing with pressure seemingly on every snap.
Yeah, he has not found a comfort zone in that pocket. They moved it around a couple of times, trying to change the launch point for him. But something I'm sure they addressed at halftime, Tom Cable being an old offensive line coach.
Tennessee deferred to the second half, so they have the football to start play in the third. Mariani, and a flag thrown. Might have gotten horse-collared himself.
Well, what he did is they got the helmet, side of the helmet. You can't grab any part of the opening of the helmet, and that, in fact, it even took Mariani's helmet right off his head with that tackle.
31 of the kicking team.
Hiram Eugene with the penalty there. Just trying to hustle down the field. It's one of those type of things. You're just trying to grab for anything. He got a bunch of grill that time and got flagged.
And it's backup safety Hiram Eugene, who has been a starter at times during his 5-year career with the Oakland Raiders. So the Titans will have the football at the 34-yard line. Quarterback comparison. Vince Young has been very much under control, very poised back there. You talked about the decision making, especially in that second quarter. Open up. First down from the 34. Tennessee with the lead 24-6. Johnson squeezing through the hole and able to pick up 3 yards. First play from scrimmage in this second half.
And curious for the Raiders, Hiram Eugene has taken the place of Michael Huff at the weak safety position. Don't know if Huff was injured in that first half or if this is a coach's decision.
So it is Eugene in his 5th year out of Louisiana Tech. paired up with Tyvon Branch in his third year from UConn. We've not even said the name Nnamdi Asomugha yet here today. Handoff. Johnson bouncing off one tackler. Now doubling back the other way. Can he find a crease? He cannot. Wrestled out of bounds as Tyvon Branch stuck with the play. Branch was a high school running back himself out of Cicero, New York. Good size and speed. And there to chase down Chris Johnson.
We talked about the decision-making of Vince Young. He makes a decision on this play to not block Lamar Houston. And that cost Chris Johnson a lot of yardage here. They lost 8 yards on that play. If Young gets that block or gets in the way of Houston, perhaps it's a big run. But I guess Young saw that Houston's a 300-pounder.
So a 3rd and 15 now for Tennessee. First possession of this second half. Shotgun. Young floats it out for Johnson. Shake and bake move, and he's buried as he crosses the 30-yard line by Stanford Rout, the corner.
Here's the phantom block right here by number 10. Whoop, too big for me, man.
Olay.
He'll catch a little bit of grief at the film session. You can bet on that.
So the Titans go 3 and out. And there is Michael Huff along the Oakland Raiders sideline. Hiram Eugene was in at safety on that defensive possession. Yamon Figures standing at his own 20-yard line. Brett Kern, formerly with the Denver Broncos, was waived last year. Figures backpedals from the 9. Catches cleanly, trying to make his move up the field. Big block out there on special teams. And Figures is forced towards the sideline and out of bounds.
Ricky Brown with that big hit. Ricky Brown just laid out Donnie Nicky. And the Raiders have got good field position to start this drive.
Oakland Raiders' best drive of the day came late stages of that second quarter. Only had 3 points to show for it. Opening drive of the second half offensively for Oakland. Handoff for Darren McFadden. And McFadden is brought down quickly. A gain of 3. Dave Ball helping to lead that charge for Tennessee.
Raiders got to feel pretty good about the performance so far of McFadden. He's been their entire offense, catching the ball out of the backfield. 4 catches for 45 yards. He's got 61 yards rushing right now. So McFadden has been the one guy that the Raiders have been able to count on in this opener.
He was the first running back taken in that 2008 draft. 20 picks later was Chris Johnson. Number 4 overall, McFadden out of Arkansas. Shotgun. Campbell. And Louis Murphy is met right away. They gave him no space as Vincent Fuller, who plays a big role in this defense. Good tackler. You see him a lot in the nickel. And Fuller was able to stick Murphy. A loss of 5.
Well, this is a misread by Jason Campbell. If you're throwing a quick screen out to your wide receiver, you got to see if he's covered man-to-man that time. Fuller was right with Murphy when Murphy made the catch. Misread by Campbell.
Murphy had 34 catches as a rookie out of Florida last year. His first catch this season, and it goes for -5 yards. 3rd and 12. From the gun. Campbell. Oh, he's got room. And this time Campbell will slide down after he gets past the first down marker. It was a mistake he made in the first half, coming up short. 16-yard run for Campbell, and this drive will continue for Tom Cable's team.
And before he left the pocket, he did have good pass protection. He had a lot of time to find somebody, couldn't, then saw the wide open lane to run through, kind of a sit-down slide there. I think he would have been out at second with that slide.
First 3rd down conversion of the day for the Oakland Raiders. They've got 9 first downs overall. On a quick throw, Yamon Figures is figuring into this offense. It's an 11-yard pickup. And a fresh set of downs for Oakland now as they'll move the chains.
Yeah, with Chaz Schillings out of this game, Nick Miller was deactivated, so it has been Yamon Figures with a couple of catches, and of course his double duty returning kicks for the Raiders.
Vince Young getting stretched out on that Tennessee sideline. The Titans leading the Raiders 24-6. Oakland on the move. Shotgun, inside handoff. McFadden, he stood up. And penalty markers down.
Boy, Jacob Ford was moving, and that caused the Raiders to move, and they're going to get nailed for this offsides false start. But Ford was looking to shoot the gap inside the tackle and the guard, and that got that 9th penalty of the afternoon against the Raiders. 9 penalties already.
Well, that's a carryover from 2009. Most penalties called against last season. Oakland Raiders led the NFL in that category. 1st and 15. Henderson whistled on that penalty for Oakland. And again, the timing is off as the rush was coming from Jacob Ford. Out of sync would be the term that you would use to describe this Oakland offense here today.
And they did not throw a flag or anything. Campbell just took the ball and then went down. Valdir trying to make a call here. Snaps the ball early, and Campbell knows that he's got nothing just to make the genuflection there. That'll cost him a down and a yard.
So Campbell takes the knee and sets up a 2nd and 16. 9:20 to go in the 3rd. Shotgun. Campbell slings, and he's got Miller. The tight end finally gets involved into Tennessee territory. He's a dangerous receiver for this Oakland offense. It's a 27-yard hookup.
And it's right down the middle. Here is Miller right here. And it's the post route between the safeties over the linebackers. This is exactly what Campbell needs and this offense.
The sure-handed Zach Miller in his 4th year from Arizona State. That was just their longest play from scrimmage of the day. 27 yards. And a first down for Oakland. Running play. McFadden spilled out. And the Titans able to get behind the line of scrimmage to wreak havoc. Jason Babin, it's a loss of 1.
Babin has taken the place of William Hayes, who has got a knee problem. Babin has played for Philly, Kansas City, Seattle, and Houston in just 7 years. But he's had a good first half so far, as have most of his line mates.
6 offensive linemen right now for Oakland with Khalif Barnes in there. And a 2nd and 11 now for the Raiders.
And they move Barnes over here, so there's 2 tackles on the strong side, and a whole bunch of other guys over there too.
They stack the formation to that side. McFadden, Johnny Lee Higgins getting involved and throws it back for Campbell. That was a whole lot of work with not much of a result. And Jason McCourty with the stick.
How about that for McCourty? Had a free shot on the quarterback here. It's a trick play as everybody is loaded up on the right side. Campbell, this is a lateral backwards pass, and I'm not sure what that is, but it's a lot of window dressing for not a whole lot of yardage.
1 yard on the play. 3rd and 10 for Oakland. Rock Cartwright, the veteran former Redskin, is in there. Campbell from the gun. Flushed out. Campbell throwing on the move and through the hands of Cartwright. Penalty marker on the play. Did Campbell cross the line of scrimmage? He was awfully close.
66 offense.
The offensive line, Cooper Carlisle, will get called for holding. But you're right, Campbell was very close, if not over the line of scrimmage. He fires a bullet down here to Rock Cartwright, too. Now he's behind the line of scrimmage, but it doesn't matter. Carlisle was called for holding.
A 53-yard field goal attempt now for Janikowski. His long is 61. He did it against the Browns last year. From 53 yards away, Janikowski, no good. Another hook, and no points for Oakland. Titans maintain the lead. 24-6. Janikowski off the mark from 53. Jeff Fisher. His team is in control here in the 3rd quarter.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. KFC, Football fans, today is the day you double down. So good. And by Bing. Stop searching, start deciding with Bing, the decision engine from Microsoft.
Tennessee Titans 24, Oakland Raiders 6. NFL kickoff weekend 2010 live from Nashville. LP Field. The Raiders looked like they had something going on that drive. Campbell finally able to connect with his tight end Miller down the field. Well, they got pushed back in the later stages of that possession, and then Janikowski missing from 53 yards away. Michael Huff returns at safety for Oakland. And a 1st and 10, handoff for Johnson. Johnson running into a crowd for a 3-yard gain. Line of scrimmage was the 43. John Henderson with a hit.
Yeah, the Raiders bottled him up on that play. They bottled him up quite a bit early in the game, but once he gets into the secondary, his speed and quickness, and he's everything that they say he is. Watch the move there on Branch, and then see you later as he coasts into the end zone.
NFL record last season, 2,509 yards from scrimmage, breaking the previous mark held by Marshall Faulk. Young throwing over the middle to Johnson. Able to take that contact initially, turns it into a short gainer of 3. Thomas Howard in there, and Vince Young.
He may have hit a helmet on his follow-through. He's in real pain. This is a quarterback's, so one of his worst nightmares is to bang your hand as you follow through. And sometimes you just happen to hit your own man. Take a look at it. Good protection again. Jake Scott is getting pushed back into him. And there's just a glancing blow.
Well, Young just waved off Jeff Fisher and Kerry Collins. He remains in there on a 3rd and 4, and they'll throw it. Young pump. Little toss for Johnson, and Johnson with the extra effort, dishing out the contact to Chris Johnson. It was Chris Johnson against Chris Johnson. The Titans version against the Raiders version, and guess which one won the battle?
Well, that's redundant.
Very much so.
Yes, and it's the guy with the white helmet, not the silver helmet. And Chris Johnson, that one right there, is going to hear from it from his coaches on the sidelines, because the Raiders Chris Johnson had the Titans Chris Johnson shot stopped for loss. Have you got that?
Yeah, I'm confused. Handoff, Chris Johnson.
Which one?
I don't know anymore. He picks up a couple of yards, 4 yards on the gain.
Well, I know you know who's on first. It's the Titans Chris Johnson.
Well, right now Jay Cutler is first among quarterbacks with 303 passing yards, a touchdown and a pick. Kyle Orton 221 yards through the air. Chris Johnson of the Titans has 110 yards rushing and a touchdown. And receiving leaders, Matt Forte 116 yards and a touchdown. Akeem Nicks with a pair of touchdowns for the Big Blue, the New York Giants. 2nd and 7 now. Young pump in trouble and brought down by Matt Shaughnessy from behind in his 2nd year from Wisconsin. They like Shaughnessy as a pass rushing specialist, 3rd round pick last year. That'll go down as a sack and a loss of 4.
2nd sack of the game. The first time Young was sacked, he fumbled. And this time he almost fumbles because he's got the ball. You know, the coaches used to say you're carrying that ball like a loaf of bread. Well, that looked like a loaf of bread there for a moment.
3rd and 11 now. Tennessee 4 of 8 on 3rd down conversions. We are under 4 minutes to play in this 3rd quarter. Titans lead at 24-6. Flagged out. Young throwing. Wide open. Bo Scaife fumbled the football. He lost it. It may have bounced right back to him as Thomas Howard delivered the hit.
I think the Raiders were lined up in the neutral zone.
Might have been a free play for Young.
91 defense.
It was.
Lined up in the neutral zone. Penalties decline. Result of the play, 1st down.
27 yards.
Again, it's that cover 2 look. The weakness of the cover 2 is the tight end down the middle. We saw Zach Miller get a pass from Jason Campbell on the Raiders' earlier drive. This time, just a real copycat play right here. 27-yard gain, which I think is the same length of the gain for Zach Miller against a similar type of defense.
1st and 10 now, just inside the 20 for Tennessee. They're looking for more. They've got a 24-6 lead. Handoff, Johnson. Stutter step, interior, picks up 4 yards. It'll be 2nd down for the Titans.
The Titans
The Raiders are in real trouble of giving up more points now. Time running out here in the third quarter, and the men in black just seem to have no answers, either on offense or on defense, for this Titan team.
John Marshall, defensive coordinator. They used their first 4 draft picks on defensive players, including Lamar Houston, Rolando McClain, the number 8 pick overall, starting middle linebacker. Bootleg. And the quick throw to Ahmad Hall, the man known as Sarge after serving 4 years in the Marines, now in his 5th year in the NFL. The fullback getting involved with a 3-yard pickup.
The big Marine with another catch. A lazy play fake by Young, but he did not have anything down the field and wisely came out to his fullback. The positive yardage sets up a very interesting 3rd and short, where a lot of options here, and the keyword option for the Titans.
Young now with 7 straight completions. We'll call it a 3rd and 3. The line to make is inside the 10. Johnson, first down. He's cut down inside the 5. Good block from Bo Scaife and Leroy Harris to help spring Johnson for a first down run.
Yeah, and this was the read option. Perfect read by Young as he gives the ball inside to Chris Johnson. The block by Scaife kicking out the defensive end and all the way down inside the 5-yard line.
First and goal for Tennessee. 10th play of the drive. Johnson single setback, double tight end set. Handoff, Johnson. He's in. Touchdown, Tennessee. Johnson's got his 2nd of the day.
And a good indication of how dominant that offensive line was on the last 2 plays. There was only 1 Raider knocked down on the ground, just perfect blocking. Staying on their feet is that offensive line, and another walk-in touchdown for Chris Johnson, his 2nd on the day.
Rob Baronis on for the extra point. 10 plays, 57 yards, all set up with the short field following the missed Janikowski field goal. And Baronis makes it a 31-6 lead for Tennessee. The Titans are running away from the Raiders. NFL kickoff weekend 2010. Titans assistant head coach, running back coach Craig Johnson. No relation to Chris Johnson, although right now I think everybody would like to be related to Chris Johnson, considering the way he has stormed the NFL first 2 seasons, now in his 3rd year, and at the top of his game once again. The kickoff from Baronis is out of the end zone, and Tennessee is up big on the Oakland Raiders.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by GMC, the official vehicle of the NFL, and by Verizon, the official wireless service provider of the NFL.
Coming up after football here on CBS, the U.S. Open Men's Championship from Flushing Meadows, New York. Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic. Nadal trying to complete the career Grand Slam. We'll have it for you after football here on CBS. 1:47 to go, 3rd quarter. Tennessee has extended its lead. It's 31-6. Empty backfield for Campbell on a 1st and 10 from the 20. High throw. And Darius Hayward-Bay is fortunate that he didn't get his head taken off on that floater. Dave Ball got a piece of it.
Yeah, Dave Ball got way up in the air, probably about 6 or 7 inches to knock this ball high in the air. Campbell really lucky this ball wasn't picked off, because it is just hanging out there. And McCourty knocks it away from Darius Hayward-Bay.
2nd and 10. And McFadden fighting for extra yardage out across the 25-yard line. We've got 2 of the best cover corners in this game, Nnamdi Asomugha and Cortland Finnegan, and really haven't mentioned their names very often. The opposing quarterbacks looking in other directions, avoiding those 2 guys.
That's smart. I mean, you got guys that go to the Pro Bowl. They go there for a reason. They either get a lot of interceptions or their reputation keeps you away from attacking them.
3rd and 3 now for the Raiders. Miller shifts out of the backfield into the slot. Campbell, rush coming. Intercepted. Picked off by Chris Hope. Down the sideline and a dive by Hope. Just short of the end zone. The Titans are pouring it on against the Raiders.
Well, when Zach Miller shifted to the outside, Jason Campbell kept his eyes on him. That's where he was going with this ball. And Hope saw it. Ball was thrown behind Miller. Good coverage on the underneath by Will Witherspoon. And Chris Hope with his 19th career interception almost got his 2nd career interception for a touchdown, but knocked out, what, about the 2 or 3.
Well, they dialed up the safety blitz from Vincent Fuller. And Tennessee at the 4, make it the 3-yard line of Oakland. 1st and goal. Handoff. Johnson stops. Johnson goes the other way. And Johnson spilled out just short of the goal line.
Yeah, Nnamdi Asamoah saved the touchdown that time. He was being blocked on the outside by Justin Gage. And it's just an outstanding job by number 21 here. Right now he sees that Johnson's coming his way. He fights with Gage, gets underneath Gage, and Tyvon Branch comes from the inside to keep 28 from getting his 3rd touchdown of the day. Great play by Asamoah.
Jumbo formation, 3 tight ends. Johnson up the middle. Did he get there? He did not.
Oh, he got turned around and right at the line of scrimmage. Big John Henderson there with the stop.
And Rolando McClain, the rookie out of Alabama, helping out as well. That'll be the end of the quarter with Tennessee in front, 31-6. They can add to it when we come back for 4th quarter action from Nashville. Titans up big on the Raiders. 4th quarter action from Nashville. Titans up big on the Raiders week 1. Ian Eagle, Dan Fouts, rest of our CBS crew. NFL on CBS. The Titans are drilling the Oakland Raiders. Yard line, trying to punch it in. 3 tight ends. Hall in front of Johnson. Fake the handoff. The floater is caught by Scaife. Touchdown, Titans. Big numbers for Tennessee on opening weekend.
Talk about the decision making of Vince Young. Sometimes you have to make a decision on the run as to how you throw the ball. This was a perfect touch pass by Vince Young. Right over the top of Tyvon Branch into the hands of his tight end and fellow Longhorn, Bo Scaife.
Young and Scaife won a national title together with Texas in 2005. And Rob Baronis for the point after. 38-6. The Titans are drilling the Oakland Raiders. The growth, the development of Vince Young on display here today. 13 of 16, 154 yards, 2 touchdowns. And the Tennessee Titans with a sizable lead over Oakland, 38-6. Baronis kicking it off. Yamon Figures is deep. He'll take it from the 2. That Figures was hit hard at the 20-yard line. Tim Shaw picked up from Chicago, making the play. Turning things around last year, Dan, the Tennessee Titans became the first team in NFL history to start the season 0-6 and finish the season at 8-8. And what a turnaround it was from those first 6 games. They looked like a playoff team second half of last year.
Jeff Fisher did a great job, especially after they lost 59-0 to New England. He told the players, just get away, forget about it. We're going to start new, and start anew with Vince Young in that 10-game run.
Darren McFadden breaking tackles, and McFadden able to shake his way out across the 30-yard line, and a first down. Chris Hope finally there to make the tackle for Tennessee.
And nothing the Raiders can do now except go to a no-huddle offense. Be interesting to see how they handle the pass rush here of the Titans with the no-huddle offense.
Shotgun formation, Campbell throwing, and incomplete. Zach Miller, the intended receiver. Well, Dan, you're the Oakland Raiders. You're on the short end of this 38-6 score. You're opening up your 2010 season with high hopes, and everybody's talking about a fresh start with Jason Campbell. You've got 14 minutes and change to work with. What are you looking to accomplish here? Odds of you coming back and winning this game, highly unlikely.
Yeah, it's really basically small steps here, and a small step would be get a touchdown, especially on this drive.
Campbell in stride. He's able to hit Lewis Murphy for another first down. Robert Gallery is out on the sideline for Oakland with a hamstring injury, and his return right now is questionable. The starting left guard, Daniel Loper, has stepped in, a former Tennessee Titan, in fact. And Gallery, the Outland Trophy winner in 2003, number 2 pick in 2004, finally found a home at left guard, but staying healthy has been an issue. Michael Bennett, former Pro Bowler in 2002, face mask called as Javon Hay got a hold of that helmet from Bennett.
Personal foul, face mask, number 75, defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Pretty easy to see. Watch the left hand of Hay right there. That twists the head and the body of Michael Bennett all the way around. And the Raiders have got better field position now, but they can't take a whole lot of time to get in the end zone. 13:49 to go in the ball game. They've got to be in a desperation mode right now.
Looking at the numbers, Campbell is 12 of 22, 117 yards, an interception, a couple of fumbles. McFadden 77 yards rushing, 45 yards receiving. Campbell throwing, tight end Miller, and he is dropped just short of the 30-yard line by Cortland Finnegan. We know about Revis Island. Why not Finnegan Peninsula? He's got to get himself a name here.
Well, I think the peninsula comes from he needs help at times. You know, when you're on the island, you got no help.
That's good point.
Help from his safeties, but he made the play that time.
Campbell thrown to the outside, and Zach Miller, it's incomplete. Time for an NFL Today update, week 1, as we head to New York and JB.
Ian and Dan, Hakeem Nicks having an outstanding game for the New York Giants. Eli Manning play action, hooking up here with Nicks back in the end zone there. 4 catches, 75 yards, 3 touchdowns, 24-16. Giants on top late in the third. Back to Ian and Dan.
Well, JB, the Jets got so much attention because of their involvement with Hard Knocks. The Giants have been forgotten in the New York area leading into the regular season. Campbell connects with Miller, and Zach Miller's got a first down for Oakland at the 20-yard line. Jason McCourty, the second-year corner from Rutgers, with the stop.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch the relationship grow between Campbell and his tight end, Zach Miller. Miller studied Chris Cooley of the Redskins. He knows that Campbell likes his tight end. He also knows that he will always be available on a dump-off such as that one.
From the gun, swinging out for Darren McFadden, and a modest gain of 4 yards through the air. Stephen Tulloch making that play. You talked about that 59-0 loss last year for the Tennessee Titans to New England. Tulloch said it was the low point of his football life. And the fact that this team was able to bounce back from that, it was a rude awakening. Quoting Tulloch. Campbell. And it's Miller. Able to move ahead for some extra yardage. Touched up by Finnegan out along the sideline. It's a 3-yard pickup.
Zach Miller has about 60 pounds on Cortland Finnegan, and I think Finnegan felt every bit of it on this tackle. So he goes low on the big tight end. Good effort by Miller, and the Raiders will call timeout.
11:46 to play. We're in the fourth quarter. The Tennessee Titans in complete control. The Oakland Raiders have lost 7 straight season openers. It's NFL kickoff weekend and the 42nd all-time meeting between these two franchises. In fact, 50 years ago yesterday, the Raiders played their first regular season game in the AFL, a loss to the then Houston Oilers. Campbell throws. It's complete inside the 5 to Darius Hayward-Bay, and a first down for the Raiders. His first catch of the day.
And a fine throw by Campbell because he put it right into the body of Hayward-Bay, and he was being harassed on that side by McCourty. Good catch by Bay.
Line of scrimmage just shy of the 3-yard line for Oakland. Darren McFadden is in there. This is the 11th play of the drive for the Raiders.
Boy, they just look totally out of sync, though. Can't even line up for this play. Receivers lining up on the wrong side of the formation.
They flood the formation to the right and movement. As mentioned, they were disheveled from the beginning.
False start, number 66, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
And that one is on Cooper Carlisle, and it's the 10th penalty against the Raiders here today.
And most of them have been against the offense.
Source of concern last year, offensive line, first game of 2010, and the same issue. They're big, tallest offensive line in the NFL, but avoiding mistakes. A young center, Jared Veldheer, out of Division II Hillsdale, making his NFL debut. He was mostly a tackle in college at 6'8", 315 pounds. Samson Satelli got injured in the preseason, then they just felt more comfortable with Veldheer in that spot. Back it up. After the penalty, shotgun formation, first and goal. Give is to McFadden, and he is bottled up after a short gain of 1 on the play.
That time the Raiders shifted their tackle, Langston Walker, over to the left side, and Zach Miller was the short side tight end on the weak side, and they ran strong. But that penalty, the ball is on the 3-yard line, and it moves them back to the 8. The Raiders come out with a running play. I'm not sure why. They're down by 32. There's just no sense of urgency to get in the end zone.
Second and goal now. From the 7. Campbell throwing. Complete. McFadden diving. And he's got the touchdown. He stuck the right arm out, extended, and it broke the plane for the score.
Great job by McFadden, knowing what he needed, just tucked the ball inside the pylon before Jason McCourty could keep him out of the end zone. Great effort by Darren McFadden. Watch as he'll stretch out here after contact, sees the pylon, reaches, and scores.
Nice individual effort by Darren McFadden to cut into this Tennessee lead. It's now 38-12. Janikowski the extra point. So the Raiders get their first touchdown of the 2010 season. It's Campbell to McFadden. 12 plays, 80 yards, but still Tennessee up big.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Sprint, the Now Network. Allstate, dollar for dollar. Nobody protects you like Allstate. And by Bud Light. It's a sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
(38-13) Tennessee in front of Oakland. 9:58 to go in this fourth quarter. Sebastian Janikowski kicking off to Mark Mariani, and Janikowski boots it out of the end zone. More fourth quarter action when we return to Nashville. It's always great when the mascots and cheerleaders get together. Whoa! Engulfed. That's not right.
You got an Alka-Seltzer?
That's some serious indigestion here in Nashville. 38-13, Tennessee with the lead. Chris Johnson with a chance to pad his numbers. Johnson with 131 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Is your fantasy football site letting you down? There's still time to upgrade to the award-winning Fantasy Football Commissioner. Get a special offer and help moving your league at cbssports.com/upgrade. The Oakland Raiders, so much hope for 2010. Next week they'll have their home opener against the St. Louis Rams. 2nd and 7. Give is to Johnson. And Johnson unable to turn the corner because Matt Shaughnessy closed up the potential opening. It's a lot. Give him a gain of 1 on the play. We come up on 9 minutes left in this 4th quarter.
And you wonder about Jeff Fisher still having Vince Young in the game and still having Chris Johnson in the game. You might be thinking about this might be their last series. Nice 25-point lead with under 9 minutes to go. I would get them out as soon as possible.
Well, this offense has produced 5 touchdowns here today. Mark Mariani is on the field for the first time, the rookie out of Montana who had
Tennessee.
Timeout taken by Tennessee. He had surprised a lot of people getting drafted out of Montana and then made the team. 38-13 Titans.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by DirecTV. Watch your favorite team wherever you live, only on DirecTV. Call to switch today. And by Subway Restaurants. Build your better breakfast and grab lunch to go too.
We have been assured by the Tennessee Titans that all the cheerleaders are okay. They've got a big lead, 38-13. Young's pass slapped out. He was looking towards the direction of Mariani. And Trevor Scott getting a piece with 8:37 to go in the 4th, and the Titans will punt.
Now, that could be a turning point in this game, don't you think?
Really?
Good pressure on Vince Young.
And Johnny Lee Higgins is now the deep man. Yamon Figures had gotten the opportunity throughout most of the day. Now it's Higgins getting his chance. Wobbly punt fielded by Higgins and quickly met at the 35-yard line. Alteron Werner, the rookie out of UCLA, first down the field to greet him. 44-yard punt. 60 Minutes has investigated a lot of frauds over the years, but few as dangerous as the one Scott Pelley uncovers. Plus, a rare look at Beyonce. That's tonight on 60 Minutes, only CBS. So Vince Young, Mike Heimerdinger, a relationship that has grown over the last year. And you made the point early in the game. It's not like they've worked together all that much. Kerry Collins was the starting quarterback first 6 weeks of last season. 8:26 remaining. Campbell on a handoff for Darren McFadden. McFadden finds some room to work with and a first down out near midfield. 13-yard rip for McFadden.
And it was interesting talking to Vince Young about his relationship with Heimerdinger. He called him cranky. And he said, get in your face, and that's okay. I don't mind that. Sometimes I'm cranky too, so it's a good cranky relationship so far.
Campbell. Protection is there, and Campbell able to get it to his receiver, Lewis Murphy. Campbell made a mention of Murphy when we asked him about the chemistry developing.
After the passer released the pass, personal foul, number 98. Defense hit him in the head with his helmet. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Well, that's Dave Ball. And Dan, I asked you earlier, what is it that Oakland is looking to accomplish here? Obviously trying to get some kind of positive feeling coming out of Nashville and heading back to the West Coast. On the flip side, Tennessee might win this football game, but you don't want to end this game with a bunch of mistakes either.
No, they look totally disinterested. Defensively, the last series when the Raiders did get their touchdown, and then the last offensive series was just embarrassing. They couldn't even line up right, and they got pressure on Young and a deflected pass. So you're right about the intensity level for the Titans. It's totally gone right now.
And a 1st and 10 at the Tennessee 27. Campbell steps up in the pocket, and Campbell has room to run. That wasn't even a slide. That was a slow down and get down. A 9-yard pickup for Campbell on the scramble.
Slow down, get down, first down, though, for the Raiders. And a little hurdle action here by Michael Griffin.
7:05 and counting left in this fourth quarter. Handoff to McFadden and a spin move out across the 15-yard line. 4-yard pickup for Darren McFadden. Well, we wanted to see what kind of production they would get with McFadden. No Bush today because of the broken left thumb, and McFadden 91 yards on the ground, 55 yards receiving. Shotgun, pump fake, Campbell throwing, end zone too high. Johnny Lee Higgins, the intended target for Oakland. It'll be 2nd and 10, trying to test Jason McCourty, who was in a training camp battle with Alteron Werner, the rookie out of UCLA, for that other cornerback position.
Yeah, out of Rutgers, his second year, perfect position that time, and a wise throw out of the back of the end zone by Campbell. But McFadden has been a bright spot for the Raiders. It would be very good for them if they could get him over 100-yard rushing. He's 9 yards shy right now.
2nd and 10. They handle the rush, and Campbell throws it out of the end zone, incomplete. Clock stops with 6:29 remaining in this fourth quarter.
And Jeff Fisher and Chuck Cecil trying to dial up the intensity, bringing the blitz that time. Tulloch got to Campbell a little bit late. Campbell got the ball out of his hand, out of the back of the end zone, but he paid for it.
Jamarcus Russell was released on May the 6th, #1 pick in 2007. Raiders feel like they've got a major upgrade at quarterback, although protecting Campbell today has been a chore. On 3rd and 10. Incomplete. So the Oakland drive stalls. And let's see what Tom Cable is going to do. Looks like they're going to keep the offense on the field. Derek Morgan there defensively.
Now they have no other choice. 38-13 with 6:25 to go in the game. You got to go for it. You got to get in the end zone. That's why I didn't like them going for field goals back earlier in the ball game.
4th and 10. Fans here trying to cheer on this defense. From the gun, Campbell. Campbell throws. It's going to be short of a first down. Lewis Murphy, ball squirted loose at the end, and he was ruled down. But either way, the Raiders are going to turn it over on downs.
That reminded me of the Titans' loss to the Rams in the Super Bowl. They came up short of the end zone, just as the Raiders came up short of the first down that time.
So the Titans offense will come back on the field with 6:17 to go. And Tennessee in front 38-13. So the one question I would have for you right now is, why is Jeff Fisher sticking with his first teamers?
Well, part of the reason is that they're backed up, and I think he's conservative by nature. And when you give the ball to number 28, you always got a chance to go in the distance. But ball security here, you know, it's probably a lost cause for the Raiders, but you never know, and that's the way coaches think. And be conservative, especially when you're backed up in the end of your field.
Give Johnson a 5-yard gain on the play, a 2nd and 5 with under 6 minutes to play. Johnson has cracked 140 yards rushing here in the season opener. That's 12 straight 100-yard games, 2 shy of tying Barry Sanders' NFL record of 14 set back in 1997, the year Sanders went over 2,000. Johnson, stutter step and running into a crowd of silver and black. 6th man to go over 2,000, joining Eric Dickerson, Jamal Lewis, Barry Sanders, Terrell Davis, and O.J. Simpson. Johnson says his goal is 2,500 yards rushing this season.
Last year he caught 50 passes to lead the Titans in receiving as well. Today, not so much for Johnson on the pass receiving, just 4 catches for 8 yards.
3rd and 3. And Johnson is not going to get the first down. Titans will punt. Quentin Groves, first man there for Oakland. Oakland uses a timeout with 4:46 to play. And the Raiders have one timeout remaining, trailing 38-13. Coming up after football, Rafael Nadal, the #1 player in the world, taking on the #3 seed for the championship at the U.S. Open. Nadal and Novak Djokovic. Dick Enberg, John McEnroe, Mary Carrillo will have the call coming up here on CBS. We asked Chris Johnson what he has seen differently from Vince Young, and Johnson said he's talking a lot more out there. Johnson also said when he leaves to go home from the training facility, Vince's car is still parked in the lot, meaning that Young is logging more hours in preparation. Johnny Lee Higgins makes a man miss at the 30 and then hit from the blind side at the 34-yard line by Donnie Nicky. 54-yard punt, a 9-yard return. So we know there's been this revolving door at quarterback for the Oakland Raiders since our colleague Rich Gannon, his career ended with an injury week 3, 2003. Kerry Collins, who's now a member of the Titans, we got most of the starts since then. Jamarcus Russell, of course, but then look at all the other names. Andrew Walter, Josh McCown, Aaron Brooks, Dante Culpepper, Bruce Gradkowski, Charlie Fry, Marcus Tuiasosopo, and now add Jason Campbell to that list, Dan.
Yeah, that's 10 in a very short time. Number of head coaches in that short time as well. So stability, not the key at two very key positions for the Raiders in the last few years.
Campbell, the short throw from Michael Bennett. And Bennett just took a hard hit. Witherspoon combining with Cortland Finnegan. Bennett, former track star at Wisconsin. He's been with the Vikings, Kansas City, Tampa Bay, and last year San Diego.
Tom Cable says he's got plenty left too. He's maybe over 30, but he's got plenty in the tank.
Bennett now 32 years old. Campbell throwing off his back foot and out of bounds. Stops the clock with 4 minutes to play in this fourth quarter.
He may have to perfect that technique of throwing off his back foot with this offensive line. The Titans have just been too quick, too fresh as they rotate in defensive linemen all afternoon, but from the very start of this game, they have dominated up front. And it all starts up front with the offensive line protecting the quarterback and opening holes for the running backs.
Well, Dan, obviously throughout your NFL career, you put up big numbers, and thanks in large part to an offensive line that worked together as a unit and created the time that you needed to get it done. Jason Campbell throwing for Bennett over the middle, and Stephen Tulloch with a stamp.
And that's really a common denominator of any successful quarterback receiver combination or any offense that puts up yardage and points. It starts with the guys up front, and I had some great ones.
And the timing has been just a little bit off for Oakland throughout the day as Campbell carries it himself.
He's not going to get the first down.
No,
Way short on the quarterback sneak.
Oh, boy.
And that really capsulizes this game for Tom Cable and the Raiders.
They turn it over on downs in their own territory on a quarterback keeper. So whatever goodwill Oakland was feeling in the preseason, in training camp, with all the changes, it gets quickly negated in this week 1 loss in Nashville.
But there are 15 more games to play. And with all the changes that the Raiders have made, it's going to take a while, but they believe that they're on the right path. They just didn't look it today.
And it looks like Tom Cable wants to challenge the spot. The red flag has been thrown by Cable. Took over for Lane Kiffin back in the 2008 season.
Challenging the forward progress spot.
This is going to be really tough to see where the forward progress was on a quarterback sneak. Very tough to get a real definite look.
Coach a challenge from Cable on the spot. Jason Campbell trying to get the first down on his own. He came up short. Oakland Raiders had just 17 offensive touchdowns last season. They've got 1 here today. Coach's challenge from Tom Cable on the spot.
The runner did not reach the 45-yard line. The ruling on the field was correct. Oakland will be charged their 3rd and final. Charge timeout.
So that's it for Tom Cable's timeouts as he took a chance on the challenge. And for Jason Campbell and the Raiders, it'll be back to the drawing board for week 2 against the St. Louis Rams. Meanwhile, Tennessee, the Titans have a very tough schedule coming up. They play host to Pittsburgh next Sunday. Tennessee takes over with a 1st and 10 at the 44. Javon Ringer, who had a touchdown earlier, is in there. And Ringer hits the hole, driving forward just short of the 40-yard line, met by Mike Mitchell. And things getting a little chippy here in this 4th quarter. Toughest strength of schedule based on the 2009 records. The Titans and the Texans, the toughest schedule based on the results of last season.
And part of that, of course, is the Indianapolis Colts being in the same division. And they play them twice, and they are always among the top teams in the league.
Call it a 2nd and 6 here for Tennessee under 3 minutes to go. Oakland cannot stop the clock. Ringer again. And Ringer ridden down at the 40 by Quentin Groves and Stanford Rout. Vince Young remains in there for Tennessee. And right now he's just handing the football off.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a scare in the 3rd quarter when he threw a pass and hit one of his own linemen with his follow-through with his right hand, his throwing hand, but he shook it off quickly. It looked like he was in some severe pain to begin with, but since that point, no evidence at all that he hurt his hand.
Well, Vince talked about how in tune they were offensively when we met with him on Friday. Guys know where they're supposed to be. The young guys have stepped forward. Good blocking up front. And Ringer's got a 1st down across the 30-yard line. We hit the 2-minute warning, but it gives Tennessee the opportunity to use more clock and wrap this one up when we come back. Tennessee 38, Oakland 13. We've got 2 minutes to go in this 4th quarter, and now the Titans can take a knee and put this one in the books. AFC South, we know how tough that's going to be with the Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts, the Houston Texans, but I think some people could be surprised by that week 1 score with the Texans putting up big points against the Indianapolis Colts.
It looks like they'll finally win the most important game of the year.
What's that one?
Against the Colts.
That's true. They'll see him again down the road, but shows you that Houston has come a long way. They were a pretty popular pick to be a surprise team last year as a potential playoff team, and certainly offensively they could play with anybody. Denver and Jacksonville 17 all in the 4th quarter.
And we'll see the Houston Texans next week in D.C. against the Redskins. That will be an interesting ball game.
Donovan McNabb, Mike Shanahan, and the new look Washington Redskins.
And it doesn't appear to me that the Titans have any interest or should have any interest in Albert Haynesworth.
No.
This defensive line is very mobile. They're very active. They play well as a team. And I don't think you want to mess with this type of chemistry that they've developed.
That'll do it. The Tennessee Titans picking up where they left off in 2009. They open up the 2010 season with a 38-13 victory over the Oakland Raiders. Vince Young, impressive.